Hey guys, welcome to a brand new series, although I should say the fourth part of a series. Welcome to The Tale of the Girls Who Grow the Season, Flowers, the volume sur Hiver. For those not following, this is the fourth game in the Flowers. It's not a trilogy, it's a quadrilogy, I think I call it. 4 games, one for each season. Yuri game about a boarding school and a bunch of girls who live there, so you know what type of game it's going to be. This is my first time playing Hiver. It was released last year, or this year technically. This video is still going up this year, just about. And yeah, I'm going to play along with it. Time to get into it then, shall we? It was like she'd slipped away into a fairy tale world. I feel like I'm looking into another world as I watch from a window of a room. Who's that? Who is it? The ground is white with snow, the sky ashen, the crags in the distance, the deep inky black. My eyes trace the scenery, but I have no sense of its reality, just a feeling of being in some fantasy land or amidst a page of a children's story. Or rather, Mayuri. It's like that scene from a movie I once watched with her. It was set in winter, but it was a shot of a car driving people to stay with a family at a vacation home. The camera tracked over a snowy landscape at an angle. My view through a window now reminds me of that. Like being in a movie. Movies are her favourite thing. Tracing a finger over a window, I think of her. And a school where I spent a fleeting spring. I enrolled in that school as an escape. I'm also going to turn my voices up a bit because I think it's a little bit quiet. Voice, tiny bit. The academy, with its high walls surrounded by forests, had seemed like the perfect place to shut myself away, leaving everything I once knew behind. And away from my father, my mother, and the person I had loved. But there, the place that was supposed to be my escape, I met my Amitié. She was just like my former love. Foolish as I was, I conflated the two. At first about my Amitié partner and unwanted distraction, as she drew affections of a girl I yearned for. But she was always there for me. First out in the woods, pouring rain, and then when everyone had doubted me, she alone believed. To me, fearful as I was of trusting in anyone, that belief was a joyous shining light in the dark. And my feeling deepened like a shadow at dusk. These dirty feelings that made a squatted nest inside my heart. And yet, she accepted me. When I think about night, the deserted library, we opened ourselves up to one another. My heart swells with emotion until it feels like it's about to be torn asunder. If I knew then what we would have to part, I would never have given myself away. On earth as it is in heaven. Stupidly, I left her with words that fell upon her like a curse. A lingering regret, I muttered to myself before turning my eyes once again to a picturesque scene. It's time. When hearing a signal of a bell, I stand up from my chair with a word of acknowledgement. I give you one last lingering look. I whisper Suoh, setting a prayer for her. Let her forget about me and let her be happy. The person who's come to collect me must have heard my murmuring, but they don't break the silence. Grateful for quiet, Mayuri Kohsaka makes a sign of a cross, hoping against hope that a little prayer might be answered. As expected to be the final game, this one's definitely going to be looking at Mayuri. They say that athletes and other competitors concentrate so intently they tune out the whole world. The snow swirls mercilessly across my field of vision and the wind howls in my ears. Yet the only thing my senses are focused on is a cross-shaped grave before me. It's like everything else being blocked by a thick curtain. Basquiat. I read of a name carved into a stone incredibly slowly, so there can be no doubt about it. What is Yuzuriha Yatsushiro trying to tell me? I stare at the name carved into a white stone. She told me. Shortly, the first key to happen with Mayuri Kohsaka was found in the last of the 7 mysteries. The Tulkaba of Agape. Maybe the key was this place. So are we playing as Suoh in this game, or are we playing as Mayuri? It would make sense to play as Suoh. The remains of the old chapel. From the damage to a building, I've surmised it was burned down. Is this old chapel a source for Tulpa of Agape? Like the werewolf of Bell Tower, which only appears around the chapel? No. The elder tree. The white gravestone nestled against the roots of a Japanese elder tree. I instinctively know the key that Yuzuriha pointed me towards isn't a chapel, but this grave mark in the shape of a cross. Basquiat's grave. In the back of my mind, I see Sister Basquiat's kindly, willowy figure. I imagine it like a fantasy novel I once read. The real Sister Basquiat is dead, yet her spirit remains at the school, wandering the halls and teaching her students. No, that's absurd. If it were one of the detective novels I love, then Sister Basquiat I know isn't really Sister Basquiat. She's told the identity of a deceased Basquiat and faked her way into teaching position at the school. That's possible. I focus my mind harder than I ever have before, quickly putting together various theories. My concentration is so intense that I neither see nor hear anything of the world around me. When I unconsciously brush my hand across the tip of my nose, I realise it's freezing and finally remember that I'm standing outside a snowstorm. And then... this is... Dropping my gaze, I notice words carved into a pedestal. Pushing away the snow covering them, I trace the letters with my eyes. An epitaph. In the West, it's customary to engrave an inscription into a gravestone in memory of a deceased. I mean, that picture of Suoh there just epitomises her. I recall the famous epitaph left by William Shakespeare. Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be he moves my bones. The curse-like phrase makes my stomach quirm. Bending my frozen body down, I read the English words inscribed in the stone. Here lies a little flower, pure and holy. A chill breath delivered, called death, now walkest in the valley of the shadow of a death. That's not cool, rhyming death with death. O beautiful flower, plucked before thine buds could bloom. The purest are called to sit beside him. Thou shalt blossom forever, and wilting in heaven's eternal garden. As I read the words and the meaning sinks in, a cold chill works its way up my spine and a stag instinctively wrapped my arms around myself. Little flower, cruel death. Speaking my words aloud sends a chill deep into my bones, calling up a vision of Mayuri within me. My Amitié who vanished without a trace. On earth as it is in heaven. Thou shalt blossom forever and wilting in heaven's eternal garden. My voice is hoarse like an old woman's, It doesn't sound like my own. I stare feebly at the white stone cross with its engraving. Oh, of course. Why didn't I realise until now? Seeing the name Basquiat must have thrown me. Yeah, there's something on the other side of it. For my intense focus, I overlooked something important. With trembling hand, I reach out towards a familiar surname and brush away the snow covering the first name. As the snow-scored letters are revealed, the gale howls louder than ever in my ears. A piercing cold sinks beneath my skin to freeze my blood to ice. The snow cleared, I whisper a name, a little flower. Shion Basquiat. That's a lovely opening. Which tell the there's an idiom in English. Between the devil and the deep blue sea. It is a phrase used to describe a situation where you're backed into a corner with no way out. They say that, when pursued by the devil, and faced only the deep dark ocean ahead, most people choose to throw themselves to the waves. There's no offer of salvation, no matter which option they choose. I'm sure my beloved Amitié was faced with countless such impossible choices. But that story begins now. Is that of a devil's sweet whisperings, or desperately deep ocean? It's the story of a girl who never lost hope, even when faced with two hopeless paths. Chapter 1. Entre le diable et la mer bleu profonde. Between the devil and the deep blue sea. Like a changeable autumn day, the year is drawing to a close. Yuzuriha Yatsushiro and Saint Angraecum Academy have left the academy behind. The snow that began to fall on Noel has blanketed the ground in a soft, downy layer of white. After recovering the dark earth of snowfall paused, then started up a few days later, as though remembering it had been in the middle of something. As though it was fearful of letting the bare earth be exposed once again. Two things come to mind as I watch the flakes flutter down incessantly. The first is a quote from William Shakespeare. A coward dies 1,000 times before his death, but the valiant taste death but once. And the other is a moment when I heard of truth. A few days following Noel, But Yuzuriha Yatsushiro and Mayuri Kohsaka had Mayuri Academy. What connects both these thoughts is the concept of fear. First, an aphorism observing the fear is incurable. Or second, events suggesting the fear cannot be vanquished. Different where they are, the conclusion that they suggest is the same. The truth of the matter was conveyed to the new members of the Council of Nicaea. Hetero's 2 shining stars of school, left without any forewarning, came as a deep and emotional shock to everyone. The children's body was covered in a sense of loss with fear that something was starting to happen, as thick as the snow blanketing the world around them. The disquiet continued as the closing ceremony approached. And then, without much ado, we went into winter break. The dorm building descended into silence, hulking quietly like a crotchety old woman. The dorms have always been filled with a cacophony of voices and noises, the hustle and bustle of daily life. But now the closing ceremony is over and the winter break has arrived, the dorms are so quiet you'd think them deserted. All quiet. Most students return to their families during winter vacation, but not all of them. That's why it's strange that a place now feels like some abandoned mansion. Every good Sam would say it's like something out of a Shining. I gaze through a window at a snowscape behind huge buildings and labyrinth gardens, all hemmed in by snow and silence. Maybe the season is to blame. Whenever we went back home during a summer vacation, it wasn't so still. I imagine most twins in a movie, which is Sasaki's dressed up as, popping up at the end of a corridor. Yatsuro-senpai, Mikado-senpai. The memory of Halloween brings their names to my lips. I've tried to blame the influence of the movies or the season, but really it's their absence that's creating the loneliness. The traces of them linger everywhere around the dorms, and within me too. It's not like we've been completely erased from existence, but our memories of them will only make the holes of left in our hearts grow harder to ignore. I know that better than anyone. Her name almost escapes my lips. I force out alongside to calm myself and suck in a deep breath of clean winter air. I'd better get back. With a vocabulary nasty to get in hand, I hurry to my room. You just look like you went 2 rounds with a T-Rex. I met Rose words as soon as I step into my room, where a gaping pit of loneliness within me quickly shrinks. I respond with a smile. I also respond at the end of the episode. Thanks for watching me. Have a wonderful day. Join me next time for more from Flowers. Until then, bye-bye.